concert, the jazz portion. And really, it's a pleasure to introduce our next two teachers. This teacher actually started here a couple years before I was born.
During the dinosaur first station.
But he still has more hair than I do, so he's doing much better than I am. But I would be remiss if I didn't give a great introduction to our Jazz Lab coordinator and teacher, Mr. Dave Hirsch.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. And can you please give a round of applause for Mr. Roger, the Director of Music and Performing Arts. Without you, this is not going to happen. Well, this is the jazz portion, and the rules are a little bit different. So when somebody's soloing, you are allowed to applaud when they're done soloing. It's quite okay, and if you like it, you give out a cheer. It's a little bit different. Now, you don't have to wait for my hands to go down before you start applauding. Okay? All right. So this is the Jazz Lab. This is more like it's a mini big band or a small group jazz ensemble. And what we learn here is the basics and standards of jazz. We learn how to interpret music, we learn how to improvise, and we learn what components make up jazz. So for our first selection, it's a B-flat blues, and it was written by the great tenor saxophonist Sonny Rollins. It's also the title track of his hit album, Tenor Madness. It was recorded on May 24th, 1956. I was born only 2 months old then. It is most notable for its title track, the only known recording that features both saxophone greats, Sonny Rollins and John Coltrane, two major saxophonists of jazz. And it's the only recording where the two of them are actually performing together. Our three soloists for this chart is Kyle Myers on guitar. Brandon Sala on tenor sax. And Chris Tasson on guitar. Here we go, some Tenor Madness. Tender Madness by Sonny Rollins. So the next chart we're going to play is a famous Beatles chart. It's a world famous song by the Beatles from the 1968 double disc album, The Beatles, better known as the White Album. The song was written by Paul McCartney, even though it was credited to Lennon and McCartney. McCartney was the only one who actually performed on the track. And by the way, for all the classical musicians out there, the actual guitar part of Blackbird was taken from Bach's Bourrée in E minor. It was a classical piece, and the two of them, when they were teenagers, used to play classical music together, and that was one of the pieces they played. So on that guitar thing, it's actually Bach's Bourrée in E minor. You wouldn't know it by hearing it. Okay, so McCartney has said that the lyrics, see, Blackbird is really very symbolic. It's really not about a blackbird with broken wings that learned to fly. It's not like that. There's a lot more to it. Basically, McCartney used the first term, blackbird, in India because he heard the call of the blackbird in India, and he wrote that. He also wrote it for the unfortunate state of race relations in the United States in the 1960s, the civil rights movement and everything like that. So, you know, Learn to Fly, Blackbird Singing in the Dead of Night. It's really about, you know, race relations and civil rights. Our version of the song is written in a Latin vein. The arranger, Mike Taylor, he cleverly sticks in a part of the melody from Bye Bye Blackbird. Pack up all your cares and all. It's there somewhere in this song. It's unrelated except by the title, and that particular song was published in 1926 by Jerome Remick, and it was written by the American composer Ray Henderson. So see if you can hear that in between our version of Blackbird. On that piece that we played, we had Brandon Salas soloing on tenor sax. We had Jack Cornell on trumpet, along with Danny Silverstone playing flute. And on drum set, we had Cooper Kelly. There he is. Our last tune is written by Richard Rodgers for the musical I'd Rather Be Right. It's like a comedy, 1937. The name of the tune is Have You Met Miss Jones? And the lyrics were written by Lorenz Hart. This tune has become a jazz standard. It's been recorded by so many performers and notable jazz musicians. Our three soloists for this chart is on piano, Kevin Eisenberg. On guitar, Owen Wernow. And at the end, on drum set, Aaron Rubinowitz. So here's the thing. When you play a tune, a jazz standard, you don't have to play it straight, the way it was written. You can improvise on it and make it your own. So we decided that we're going to start this piece with a piano rubato solo by Kevin Eisenberg.
Give another round of applause to Jazz Lab and Mr. Hirsch.